Hey folks, I hope you're doing well. I'm back today for a new video on Forza Horizon 5, a video in which I suggest you go for a test and improvement of one of the most mythical French cars in the world, the Renault 450. It was indeed one of the most requested cars and comments on my previous lives and previous videos. We can finally test it now that I've unlocked it. It was a barn find, which is why I couldn't do it earlier in the video. We had to wait a few hours of gameplay to unlock and restore it. Now I have it in my garage and we're finally going to be able to test it a little bit. So here we have a Renault 1 gallon, which is here in the 1968 export version. It's a 1 gallon, let's say a bit high-end, with a bit more chrome, a bit more detail for the finish, and an interior that's also a bit different from a really classic and basic 1 gallon. Engine-wise, we don't have the Cléon. Indeed, the Renault 1 gallon is very well known for having the Cléon engine. But in the game, they tell us that we have the 24 feet, 7.217 inches -3 engine. And if it's really a 750 cubic centimeters, then it's a Bianco engine and not a Cléon engine. So in the game, it outputs 27 horsepower, which isn't much. The car is quite light. It weighs 1,322 pounds with a top speed exceeding 62 miles. The VMAX is around 65 miles per hour, and the acceleration is roughly 0-100 in 30 seconds. These performance statistics are important for those who might do role-playing in Forza Horizon 4 hours, even though a 1 gallon isn't meant to be high-performing. Or want to use this car as a kind of base for rallying or for any type of event. So, little Renault 1 gallon that we're going to test today in the video. So, for now, it's night. So, indeed, to see the details, it's not very practical. But as the test progresses, the day will rise and we will see it better. Anyway, I will show you that again, later in the garage. But it's true that it's nice to have French news about the game. There weren't many French cars in Forza Horizon 4. We still don't have a lot. Forza Horizon 5 introduces new features, but some cars have been removed from the game. Like some generations of Megane, some Clio, which for now are not on the game, while they may come back thanks to Festival Selections updates. Maybe these cars will be re-added. On the game, why were they deleted? Is it because they are redoing the models or to keep them under the elbow for later? At the French level, one of the only, perhaps the sole novelty we have on the horizon for now is true. It's the 1968 1-gallon export, so we're going to see a little bit what it gives. We're going to drive it a little bit in the desert. I haven't really been to this part of the map so far, at least in video, live. I've been a little bit more because we've had quite a few stories to complete at this point, but we're going to drive it a little bit in the desert since, in addition, there may be the possibility, I don't know, I haven't checked yet, but there may be the possibility to make a rally version of the 1 gallon, since there were 1 gallon S for the Paris-Dakar in reality quite a long time ago, of course, and there are still rallies being done in 1 gallon now, so it would be quite stylish. Indeed, to be able to put it in rally. We'll see. In any case, I think that the desert was, let's say, a good candidate for these kinds of little tests. As I mentioned, the car accelerates from 0 to 100 in 30 seconds. Going downhill, the acceleration improves significantly, even exceeding the car's normal top speed. However, on a flat surface, the speed will inevitably decrease. With only 27 horsepower, the torque isn't exceptionally high. The worst part is that these cars consume fuel like crazy. Well, after all, it's true that back in the day, we didn't really care much in the 60s when a car was released. It wasn't really a criterion, let's say, very important, the fuel consumption, because gasoline cost nothing at the time. But not long ago, I had the opportunity to ride in a real 450 at least, to be a passenger in it. I didn't drive. And indeed, the owner of the 450 told me that it easily consumed 7, 8 liters or 9 liters per 100, while indeed these boxes are all light. And of course, in normal driving, we're not talking about sporty driving. Well, after that, we're on sporty driving. We don't care who's going to do the sporty driving with a 450 in reality, except in rally. So indeed, small model, very nice. Frankly, it's nice to see an addition. Like that, maybe they felt guilty about removing the 2 horses. They said to themselves, well, we still have to put a French classic. What can we put? We have already ordered the 5. We are already the 205. They may have hesitated in a 404. They said, let's go for the 1 gallon. And in reality, it's pretty cool. It's one of the most well-known cars in France, so on that, I suggest you go back to the garage to go improve it. Because indeed, in fact, given the performances of the base model, there aren't 50 things to test. Obviously, it's going to break. Even if it's not going to break like crazy, we can say that at 70 kilometers per hour. Obviously, even a somewhat average braking is enough, and then physically afterwards. Honestly, it's about what you can imagine. That is to say, the car is quite high in truth compared to its length and width. It requires significant roll. The holes are small in size, but the tires are also not very wide. And in addition, we have suspensions in 60/70 mode, 60/70. So we have, let's say, a body that is super soft. So clearly, well, there you go for taking corners on the inside. It's not great, but on the other hand, at 80 kilometers an hour, we can take all the corners on the inside. Also, the main advantage with this little car there, we pass a last little point in the descent. We will do a last little braking test, and then it will be pretty good. After, we will look at the different improvements. I don't know what we will do between, maybe several bubbles depending on what the game actually offers as improvement. We are at 130, and she is at the end of her life after 5,500 tours. The price is now at 130. We take a van, by the way, which is also relatively slow. 135 kilometers per hour. You see, 130 already, the curves, it's not the same story. And what's good is that since the brakes don't have a lot of braking power, on the other hand, you can almost play without ABS like I play without ABS and press your brake trigger all the way down, or rather press on top of it. You will have a clean braking without loss of grip, since anyway there is zero braking power. So it's pretty cool at that level in the end. It's quite easy to play as a car. For those who claim that cars in Forza Horizon 5 are too difficult to drive and there are only soapboxes, it's not true. It depends on the type of car you drive. Driving a 1,500 horsepower propulsion car in Horizon 5 is more challenging than in Horizon 4, but if you want an easy vehicle, it's typically available. We will indeed also look at the improvements. We can put the motorcycle engine on it, and the Rally Turbo. Whoa! Then the Rally Turbo on that. The new Rally Turbo should be quite impressive with 700 horsepower. Oh, there's a little wide kit, too stylish. Official Renault wide kit. Nice. So wait, let me check something. Out of curiosity, I'm checking if by any chance the game didn't make us a preset in rally mode on this car not to test it. No, there isn't one. Now you know, it's a small wide kit with the option to put it in four-wheel drive later. We'll see later, I don't know for now, at all what we're going to do with this car. But I think given the power, we shouldn't need four-wheel drive for now because for now we're going to test it, let's say without swap. We're already going to test a bit the basic engine. Indeed, it's going to maybe output 150 horsepower. And yet, maybe still there is a possibility. It might even output a bit more than that. No, maybe around 150 or slightly more than that. So, yeah, around 200 horsepower. In traction, even if the wheels are not very big and, let's say, a bit wide, quite thin, it should pass anyway, especially since we will be able to increase the width of the tires, the width of the wheels, and everything that goes with it behind, so we will still have the possibility to do several things with what I propose for now is to make a classic street version, and then we will go to switch it to rally mode, with the Rally Turbo, and with the four-wheel drive. We will see a little bit what it can give. For now, we'll leave it in sport mode to see what it can do as we go to the classic race. So we are going to put the gearbox race. Everything that can be improved for now, we will say in race mode, and then we will switch to rally mode, small tires, and slick rims for now, since it is also nice in the desert. We don't have a rain problem, so that's the advantage. And so the bigger tires. It's 175 millimeters. Oh yeah, well it's very thin, but it's still much wider than the basic tires. In terms of aesthetics, I don't know if it's really going to be feasible to customize something this car there without it really looking stylish. Wait, there's a way to do stylish stuff, actually. What we can do for now, since we didn't really aim to do a bull rally at this stage of the video, we're going to install the Forza kit. Well, actually, we're not going to change much, we're just going to put the Forza kit at the front. It adds a bit of downforce, and it's not too noticeable, and then we'll see what it looks like. Maybe we can also look into changing the rims. But the thing is, these rims, let's say the full ones, it's going to be complicated to replace them. In this game, there's nothing that fits that style. Then there are other rims that are stylish. But let's say that for the moment there's not much that will look as good. Maybe in muscle car rims, we can maybe find the equivalent at Kragard or something like that. Lighter. Like Kragard rims on a 1 gallon, it's a bit weird. Actually, it works, it's not so far off, but it's not the same. These are not our usual 1 gallon rims. Knowing that we still had 1 gallon rims, let's say more, because basically a 1 gallon doesn't have these rims. For now, we'll leave it like that, and then we'll see. Maybe we'll do something a bit more what the fuck when we go prepare it in rally mode. Already we have done X6, X7 of the power, and we have gained about 20 kilos, so it's not huge in terms of weight gain. But given the power gain of... Despite the loss, we switched to a 6-speed gearbox. It's weird, and you'll probably insult me for it in the comments, but I'm getting used to it. We'll also quickly adjust the car. The advantage is that we don't have a very powerful car, so chassis adjustment should go well. So let's go. We're going to test this. I'm looking to see if we have any other small paintings available, which could be stylish. There we go. We have a little bit of choice. It's part of the French cars. Offered a bit of color at the time. In blue, I think it's really pretty. So we might put it in blue. It makes it look like a police life. That's the thing. But, well, beige is a bit the classic color on the game. Orange is also nice. Yeah, blue tempts me. Even if it directly makes a bit of a police 1 gallon, you will obviously tell me what you think in the comments. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to go retest that, and then we'll do a little rally prep. Let's put it that way, so I'm not going to look too much, besides the stats, but I think that now, we must have the 0 to 100 in 6 seconds, something like that. And then a top speed of more than... Oh, the sound that comes to annoy now. But the sound is weird on the other hand. I am pretty convinced that in reality, our 1 gallon do not sound like that. But, well, whether it's, let's say, stock or improved, this sound, it's a sound that comes back from FH5. Maybe it's part of my first disappointments with the game in terms of sound. For now, I've been pleasantly surprised by most of the models, but this one indeed doesn't seem to have a really crazy sound. However, it has a deep grip. See what the fuck indeed. It's not very... powerful, it is very light, we have in traction, so we will say that everything is done so that it is reassuring and that it is not at all treacherous in fact. But indeed it takes the turns with ease. At 170. It's much more rigid too. It's clear that originally, the fact of having switched to sport suspension and everything that goes with it, frankly, it changes a lot of things. That's for sure. Stylish. Also a little old one. That's the Minor, otherwise Minor Morris, it seems to me. So, very, very cool to drive now. Well, after that, what class are we in? We are in Class A, in truth. We might have had to improve it a little less. Put it in Top B. It would have had, let's say, potential, but they're clearly at 706 who are going to launch multi. You have your against people who are going to fly an A800. You have no chance, especially since most of the cars in A have more power. And even if they don't necessarily have as good grip as that as soon as you go straight, you're going to get completely washed out by the competition. Whoa, I didn't see that coming, but indeed, pretty fun to drive. I didn't expect this physics with that car. On this game, there isn't a small straight line. In, so we can test a bit. We're going to step here at the festival, or at my house I have here. We're going to try to make a small point, to see how far we can go with a 4LE. Without swap. Obviously, we will test with the swaps as well to see a little bit what it can give. So let's go while the highway is loading. Well, after what is good with a car like this is that we will not need a long distance to test the VMAX, because in a few kilometers we should reach it. Unlike super hypercars where it takes 4, 5, 6 kilometers of highway in a row to reach 400 plus, well, here it should do it. We might even reach the VMAX before getting to the highway. Well then, clearly you're not expecting 300. There, I think, a little 210. She can do it, but not much more than that. There's a little thing we can do indeed to gain some speed. I wasn't thinking about that. But it will mildly reduce the support. We won't change the stats significantly. I noticed we should reach the 200 range, but not yet. The goal is 121 miles UH in 4th gear. We're at 111.85 miles UH with 1 gear left, which should allow us to exceed that speed as we're currently going downhill. We'll take advantage of this and aim to surpass 124 miles UH. Normally. Not at all, actually. 196, we had a 196 indeed. There will not be more than that. It counts in both ways. Ah yes, 196, maybe a little 197. No, we won't get it. The series was significantly faster, likely due to the small wide kit providing some support, although it's difficult to say if a box truly offers genuine support. like this one, but in any case, which changed a little bit the road holding, and then, yeah, all the improved suspensions and all that, makes that we have something which in the end is rather fun to drive to. Well, basically also it was fun to drive, but more, because it's a 450, and we say yes, I drive a 450 there. It's fun to drive because it's fun to drive, in fact. So we left, we're going to check the little swap, we're going to max it out now. It should go in S1, it should be able to do some crazy stuff. So let's go. We're going to look at the improvements, not the auto improvements, the classic improvements. We're going to put it on. So in Turbo Rally, indeed, the swap of the motorcycle makes a sound that is rather stylish. But for the shot there, my goal. It's not to have the stylish sound, it's to have the max power, and normally it's 700 horses, 668, almost 700 on a 450. Everything is fine. So in transmission, we'll keep the option to switch to four-wheel drive, as mentioned earlier, since 600 horsepower on small holes like that requires traction. It won't pass. It's not worth trying. I also wanted to switch to all-terrain mode. So that already needs to be changed, it's done, and also the tires, we're going to put them in all-terrain as well. We're going to put them in rally mode. In my opinion, I hadn't seen. So I don't know what it gave in terms of performance, apparently less efficient than racing tires. But I hadn't seen. It's a shame we have vintage races and all that at the bottom. Never mind. Maybe for the thumbnail, I would put the little vintage racing tires because I think it's really super stylish. But so now we're going to look for what will be the rally gums. And so here is our 450 with the modified rims. I wanted to try, in truth, I think these rims were rather not bad. And above all, they are among the lightest I could find to lower the weight of this 4 a bit. So we've gained another 20 kilos, we're at 668 horsepower performance level. We're in top S1. And then we now have a piece that should be very nervous. So unfortunately, it's a matter of taste. But if you don't like the Turbo Rally on Horizon 4, if it bored you to see the Turbo Rally everywhere, know that unfortunately, it is back on Horizon 5, and that the sound of the Turbo Rally will come back to haunt you in your worst nightmares, because it is still present on a lot of cars. Afterwards, it's not necessarily always the best alternative, but it's true that for Rally, the Turbo Rally really does the job particularly well since it's a very torquey engine, and it also goes quite far in the revs, so it's really not bad, clearly, for doing Rally. So there you have it, a little 1-gallon equipped in off-road mode that floats a bit above the road. It's weird. I feel like we really have zero grip. After that, well, we're not on the dirt road, we're really too much in the sand. And there are still a lot of bumps here, a lot of little places where we really have no contact with the sand. Afterwards, it's not rated that well for off-road in the game. It really needs to be rated with the maximum off-road balance. It was 7 out of 10, which isn't crazy, in quotes, for a car that is also known in real life for having done some rallies well after Re. We didn't win any math either, that's not the thing, a small idea of the transition, but it's not that OP for off-road apparently, but it's still fun to drive clearly. And then, again, it's nice to have French cars. To have some new French cars after it's super agile though, since it's super small, super light, you do what you want with it, whether it's handbrake turns, whether it's sideways, 200-kilometer drifts, it handles them pretty well. However, there's a chance that this box could be a great wheeling base, given how easily it seems to lift. We'll have to see, try, maybe in a place where there's a little bit of a slope, but I think there's a serious chance of doing a wheeling quite easily with this car. Even with a slight handbrake turn, you can see the car lifts up significantly. So then, it's not the front that lifts up, it's the back. But I think that means there's a way to do something with the suspensions. What I also suggest to you, before ending this video, let's say the test of this little 450, which I honestly really enjoyed testing. It's probably in the end a model that I'm going to ride a bit more than expected. Soon, the little R8 Gordini will also be added to the game. We might have the opportunity to do a little race, a little ride, or a little thing in Renault Gordini in 450 mode. It's one of the helmets that I can potentially ride while having fun. Before ending this video, let's see if we can reach 186 miles h with this car using the Turbo Rally. To do that, we'll slightly adjust the settings by lowering it. We won't change the tires as it won't significantly impact the VMAX, which isn't really affected by the off-road equipment. It's mainly the grip that changes a lot from one setting to another, so we're going to quickly look at how to gain the missing 4 kilometers. Because right now I saw in my setting that we were at 299 kilometers per hour. My goal is 300. So let's go. We're going to especially look at the aero. We're going to set it to full speed. We'll lower it slightly as the off-road suspensions make it very high at the moment. That should do the job. 300.7 kilometers per hour. Let's see if we can catch them now. That's the real question. Where is the highway? It's on the right. It's clear we can cut through to the highway. Afterwards, it understeers a bit indeed, all the same. That's because of the game's four-wheel drive. It understeers very slightly, but I don't even know if it's because of that. What it could be due to. But indeed, there is a slight understeer problem. Well, it could simply be that we're on three wheels in the turns, so that doesn't help. Not? Let's go. Let's see if we can hit our little 300 kilometers per hour in there. It must be insane to be overtaken by a 1 gallon that's going at that speed. I'm aware of some impractical 1 gallon vehicles where people installed engines that were completely unsuitable, to put it mildly. 6-cylinder motorcycle engines were designed to be compact, but I believe no one has actually reached 186 miles h with a 4-liter engine. Motorcycle engines were designed to be compact, but I believe no one has actually reached 186 miles h with a 4-liter engine. It would be nice to reach them. We had them, but we didn't really keep them for long. There is a small downhill where we might slightly exceed 187 miles per hour. I think it's officially the fastest 1 gallon in the world, so there you go. Little 450 export from 68 on the Game Barn Treasure, so everyone will have it for free. Don't hesitate then to leave a little comment under this video, to leave a little like, to share, to subscribe. If you're interested, follow me on Twitch for live stream notifications. Don't hesitate. Check out my Twitch channel in the description and top comment. Don't hesitate to take a quick look to follow. If you have Amazon Prime, please consider using your Twitch Prime on my channel. This lets you support me for free and enjoy bonuses on my YouTube and Twitch channels. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and other social networks including Plastic. To support my channel for free, use my affiliate links in the video description for your purchases, such as my instant gaming link for games, subscription cards like Game Pass, Forza Horizon 5 keys, and more at discounted prices. Support me by using my Mattel.net link to purchase your PC components, configs, and peripherals. For long-term support, become a channel supporter via the join button on this video and enjoy various bonuses and advantages. I'm cutting here. I'll see you very soon. Hello everyone, and we just immortalized 304 kilometers per hour on the radar with the little 450.